Welcome, KD Custom Woodworking. I'm Kevin Dunphy, and what I'm going to show, I'm in the middle of doing this, and I say, well, I better break out the camera and do a video. I have my columns going here on the wall unit, and I want to finish the bottom, but then I got baseboard in between. I shouldn't say baseboard in between, because I wanted to do the baseboard and continue it, but sometimes then you make the baseboard look redundant in a room going under the built-in sometimes. And then not only that, the baseboard is like over 6 inches, so I can't jack it up that much. But I did make this 6 inches high. If I can get on site and get the wall unit that high, I'll do it. And then blend in with the baseboard. So they'll go here, and what I'm trying to do is add a little detail, but not go overboard. But I think I did go overboard. I got a lot of pieces. This is taking me a little longer than what I thought. I was just wanting a couple simple blocks. They're going to go here. All right. And that's it. Look at that, eh? I'm really liking it though. It's going to blend in with the rest of it. The big problem with the base is that it's a detail that's going to go. This is the hardest thing. This is not like furniture you do in a shop. You put the piece together, you see. With built-ins, you get so many pieces. It's like, okay, I need 6 of these. I need 6 of those. I need the other blocks 30. I need the other blocks 50. And, then you need then you get into like 60, 80 doors. So that's the hardest thing. And if you're doing like furniture, which I'm trying to do, but that furniture piece you can spend that week to sand. I can't spend a week to sand with this. I'll be here for 2 years. So it doesn't mean I'm cutting corners. What it means is there's a line where I'm going. I'm going here. I'm going to say, okay, I got a budget of $100,000 for the cabinets that I'm going to do in this shop. All right, is this going to be worth it? And try not to go over, because like high gloss would be over. That would be like, oh, I would polish. I'd probably need about 4 or 5 guys to pull this one off. Only because it has to be polished. It's really, really hard to do. That's why you see it on private jets and yachts and things like that. They're starting at probably 5-7 million, maybe a lot more in those yachts. So not the bore. We're only here for this. Let's see.
The little saw really kicks ass. I'm using a lot for this kind of work. And for those little pieces, the 12-inch blade flies, but once you get going with it, it goes pretty fast. Just use lots of glue, and you can see we're using the pin nailer to keep them in until the glue dries.
You can see the difference if you're new to a joiner, and you see guys looking it through, and what are they doing? Why do they want a wide one? In my case, I have 6 inches. I wish I had gotten wider. A few times it would have been really nice. Now I put it face down through. Now I got everything nice and flush. I just took enough that I'm happy with this, and then I'll finish off with the sander. This is how it starts. So it's like pretty god awful, huh? So I'm not here to offer any safety advice on this thing. This thing is friggin' dangerous. Like, can I turn this on? This is open. This is spinning. So you're on your own, as they say. This is not a safety course. And I don't mean that. I mean to have respect for the machine. I remember when I first started, a guy said, the machine has no feeling. I didn't know what he meant by that. He just meant that in a split second, things can change. So I'm using my paddles. I have this wax, so this slides. The worst thing is, especially like me, I'm near the ocean, get a lot of humidity, and the machinery, sometimes you go by, you can hardly slide. So make sure everything slides. And this is it. Let's see how I can make it out. I got it set right here on my gauge, I'm doing about a 30-second at a time. I'm just babying this because my knives are old. I'm hitting a couple of the pins there. The pins are really soft and metal, but I do have to replace those knives. And the other cool effect is when I went over there, if you remember, now this looks small, eh? Now I'm going to put a little molding right around. That's really going to finish it. Here I left this here if I can cut it. I like to go this high, but I left room here that I can cut this. Right there, but I'll get that out with the sander. It came out really good. I just want to do the bare minimum because but then I have like little gaps here. And I gotta fill that. That's it. One station done. The music was great in the 70s and 80s, huh? And this is what I listened to all day. So if I gotta, you see this video, nobody said anything, but you didn't. This is like one of the greatest songs, but you can hardly find it on YouTube or anywhere, like a live version. And this little saw, man, does it kick ass. And that went from here. Now I'm a touch over on one, and like a 30-second. And the other thing is the light to follow with the line. I better say it in a nice way. It's a piece of crap. Don't do it. Get used to knowing where the blade is. Like right here, I know exactly where the blade is. I'm at 64th right there, and if I move here, I'm at 32nd. So I'm just going to take that ever so slightly. And the reason why I did both of them, one was a little lower, and I took that a little bit off. And that's it. I'm going to let it go. And then that's it. Then we're going to go on to our next station. All right. I got this filled. I really went into the grain. Just used Lepages. There's the other one that looks like this, but don't use it. The dye bleeds into the wood. And I don't know why they haven't fixed it. I'm not going to mention the manufacturer, but it's freaking crap. And it's a total nightmare if it happens. I've had it happen in nail holes. Then you have this little ring like that when you stain. Now, this, I'm about 1/8 of an inch over. It's exactly where I want it to be. With this, I'm exactly the length right here. So I'm decent. Now, if you look down here, you see this. You know, you might see all this crap. But I want to finish it like, if you remember the baseboards, where I did those little blocks, I want to have it finished like that. Now, I'm going to use this molding that goes up on top. So it'll be finished like the other one. It'll be a little back. I'm missing a little spot here. I wish I went a little wider, but c'est la vie. This is the last piece that I have. Now I got two ways of doing this. I'm going to cut this. I can either, I got a thinner side, or it steps back a 1/4 inch. You can go like this. or put the other one. I'm going to take a look in 1 sec. And then just take the pencil under here and stay away from the measurements if you can. I can do that all day long. I'm going to go a little touch over. And what was nice, there's a little piece in the thing. I don't use the other ones, thin ones. All right.
Sanding, it can be such an art. It can make or break your piece. On this, I'm just using the cordless sander, but it has a soft pad. I didn't really need a hard pad there. I really wanted to get into the crevice to make sure this thing was sanded properly. But if you're not careful, you stay on a small piece like that, you can create a valley. So, you know, it's because it affects your finish. You end up all wavy, and you try to put a finish on after, and you won't be flat. It'll just highlight all your defects. And you know, I'm using a little bit of like hand sanding in the corners there, and just be careful of cross grain sanding when you're doing it by hand. It can be a total nightmare after. And I have the vacuum hooked up. I take it now wherever I go, and basically almost all my tools are hooked up with a vacuum. It's really a godsend. You need it, and because even with the dust mask, you're not getting out all that dust.
This is the edge sander or stroke sander, whatever you want to call it. I want to give this a shot so this part is nice and flush. And if you do it with a hand sander, you're going to end up with a wave. Then when my piece comes in butts here, it's going to be real problems. So keeping it like this. The other thing is, if you were to run it and hit it like this, the thing would go flinging. So there is a bit of an art to it, and keeping it on. Make sure the vacuum's on, and that's it. But it is a must. These machines you can pick up. I remember I picked mine up for about $500. I know it's a lot more today. But this is, oh man, this machine's about 16 years old, 18. And it's just a beast. So you do get your value with one of these, you know. Then you have doors. You know, I got this one, so I can have 36-inch doors and get in there and get a straight edge. Let's see how we make out here.
Be careful with this tool. If you put too much pressure on the left, that piece of wood will go flying. So you got to go on the right. But if you put too much pressure, you're going to end up with black marks. It can burn a lot, especially with mahogany. So it's a tricky tool to learn, but man, does it give you a nice job.
I'm just going to sand, and I'm just using a dull 120. Get a little shot in here, a little bit of glue. Remember, there's cross grain. Like I'm hitting up here, you know, be careful. You can't put a cross grain scratch, and usually a cross grain scratch takes 10 times amount of effort. And I kind of just want to clean this out, just doing it by hand. You know, just really deburring and just smoothing it out. And there was a little piece that flew off here, and I glued it back on, and I put a piece of tape there, and it held out nicely. I'm very happy with that little repair. Now I'm just going to slightly deburr here. You can see this is cutting very nicely. And I'm going to hit my edge. It's very important, hit that edge. Don't have a sharp edge like that. I don't care about the back or the bottom. The back's going to be cut, and this is going to be cut. So, and that's all I need right there. Nice smooth little edge. We're almost at the nitty-gritty. Almost ready for the stain.
I'm offering no safety on this table saw. What I'm going to show is when you're feeding, feed from the corner. And see how I'm able to handle that full sheet, no problem. Even though that sheet weighs a ton. And I'm in total control. I'm not being rushed. And if you're going to do it in your shop, have that table saw bolted down. Have an outfeed table. Do not try without an outfeed table, a full sheet. And same with thin strips. If you watch here, I'm taking it, not being rushed. I don't have a guard or a splitter. I just don't want to take it off and on. I do a lot of small pieces, and I don't feel comfortable with the guard. I don't know where I am. And maybe that's running a saw too long like that, but just feed it like that, nice and easy. I'm not being rushed, or it's not a race. Try not to stop too much. You can't burn when you stop. And the secret is right here. That little block there keeps all the pressure on the front, and I have no issues whatsoever.
All set up. I got my stand. I got a table. These are the kick plates that it's going to go under. We're going to show that in a minute. How this all goes together. And I'm going to start with this. And when we last with this, I have a little piece left over, this filler strip. And what I'm going to try and do is wipe it in, but not dry it. And of course, I got my favorite music on. And look at that, eh? Absolutely gorgeous with the walnut. The stain is full of, there's a dye to it I use that I can also use in the gun, so I would never really have trouble with the color. I could always get that. Now I'm going to go here, make sure there's no streaks. That's it. All this to do, I'm pretty fast at this, so I'm not going to take me too long. I'm going to add a little tongue oil, and the reason for that is I want my mahogany to pop a little more, and it'll add a way better finish. I'm just going to pour it on. Drop a little bit there. And right after this, I'm going to pad the finish with shellac, so gotta make sure that I let this dry. Just want to add it so slightly in there. Just using the back of the rag to dry it. If that's going to get wet, I'm okay with it. Okay, that's decent. And you can see right away, like if you've never worked with it, it starts to pop right away. Okay, I'm going to pad the finish, and if I could show you right here, I've used a little of the amber, and I used the clear. I've used about 20–30% of this to the rest with the clear. And the amber I found was a little too amber. I didn't like it. But I still want that amber look on top. And I'm going to pad the finish. I got a big pad because I got some big pieces to cover. So I want a big area like this, all right? And you just roll it up. The only other thing I'd watch out for is, yeah, I'm using cotton. You know, little fibers could come off, but I'm putting clear coat after this. I'm not really worried about it. You shouldn't use it. But if you're using a light wood and you're trying to do this as a finish, don't trust this in case the dye comes out. I know the dye's not going to come out on this, but you never know, eh? And especially with maple or something, you have no stain. The disadvantage of using a darker stain, it can show little defects throughout. And that's part of the reason why I want the amber, just to tone that down a bit. Now, I'm not going to dip it in here and then go back, and then, because I'll contaminate that container in case I want to use it to spray or I want to do something else. So I just put a little bit in here, and we got a little treads. The first part's a little harder because, you know, you got to get enough in there. And, all right, this is like old school, eh? I haven't done this. I'm just doing it now because I want to get it ready for Monday, and I don't want to use the polyurethane like I should on the other videos. Just want it more natural. And this is it. Just lightly go in a circle. And I'm trying to go fast here. All right, the molding's going to be a little hard. All right, I got that. I'm going to do the sides. Then I can seal the end grain here. And you see, this is quite fast, eh? Because I just want like a barrier coat, because I'm gonna start the 2K urethane on Monday. We'll show that, but for now, we're just going to show that. And you can see, we saw the oil look great. Now look at this, eh? Not just a little place, but really. Okay, let's see how fast I can go. This is hard, eh? Because you got a big piece. You don't want to have black marks. You know? But this is like a French, it's called French polish, but they use cheesecloth. And the French love their cheese. But, okay, inside. It's, you know, if I kept going, you can get this high gloss, and you can have a polish, but it's not a very strong finish. You know, it would, you know, you need to put some on top. It can blush very easy. Something white on top. This is just for me enhancing the color, but also creating a little barrier between my 2K urethane. Not as nice as mahogany though, in terms of the depth, but it is gorgeous though. And this sheet of walnut came from China. They call it shop. They're basically buying our walnut, our North American one, more in the south than in Canada, and now turning it to veneer. And they're doing, good to say it, but they're doing a good job with it.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Okay, I did a little dry mock to see what it's going to look like and kind of put everything together and see if I'm going a little overboard or should I have backed off. What it is, little details matter. When you created so much detail here, you don't want to just walk into the room and then just see that detail and then nothing else to go around there. And it can look cheap. I've seen houses where they just put, I know, exterior post right in the middle of the kitchen and call it high end. So you're getting into woodworking. Push yourself higher. This isn't really that hard to do. It's just big. You go through a lot of material and you burn a lot of time. It took me double the amount of time to do this, right, than what I thought. And kind of burned up a little more was because these little pieces, they're hard to glue in. That's okay. Now, let's discuss what I've done here. So they're going to go at the bottom here. If you can see right here, I made this about a little over 2 inches, so I can cut this here. I got this too high. I want to go here. I can't jack it up this high. I think it's way too high. I'll probably cut it down there.
important thing is when you do stuff, make sure you can adjust and cut, especially built-ins. Sometimes you get into problems with the ceiling because I want indirect lighting flashing off here into the ceiling. So I got to leave a nice gap here. And I don't know, like just that little bit compared to here. I got this one lower. You can see the ceiling. So that can make a huge difference. And the walnut for the backsplash, now I love it. Now when that just sits there, that's going to look amazing. You know, that's really, the best bet would be put the walnut and just put that in front and not worry about like having joints. So then we got the TV unit to do. That was designed for an 85-inch TV to fit in there. Also, you can put a 100-inch screen, laser screen, but I wouldn't go bigger than that because you're only really right about where the camera is. Watch a TV. Sometimes you get too close and you get, you can get sick. And this, if I could show you maybe this way a little better. So it's going to sit like that, all right? And we're going to tint it with the red a little bit in the 2K urethane. It should come out quite spectacular. I'm very happy with it. And I'll check with the client, see how he likes it. These are the door panels. This was another story. We had trouble with there. That's going to be tinted too, and so you got a lot going on, and that's about it. We're going to coat that. If you stuck by the video, I know I put a lot of detail. I'm trying to keep them down, but there's a lot of little steps. It's important. Important you see some of the equipment so you understand if you're out buying anything. They say, hey, yeah, I know. I thought it was just for the edge for the joint. I didn't realize I could do faces. And same with the stroke sander. Those are important tools. So please subscribe. I thank you all. I almost made the 1,000. I just need a couple of subscribers. It's been a long journey. I'm almost at 100 videos. So I'm there. And I'm going to continue this. This is a long process, so you get to see. I don't want to like close your eyes, slap it together, and use cheap materials. When you start working with wood like this and getting into finishing, it takes time. So I don't want to sugarcoat it. I just think you should go in with your eyes open. Most projects anybody ever does takes twice as long. So thank you, and thank you. Stick around for the next video after this one. And it's going to come out next week. If you're reading this or you're watching this after, then it already came out. And we're exploring finishes and showing that it's not a cut and clear, that it can be a very complex process. So thank you again for watching, and hope you enjoy our next video. Thank you.